There's a couple of variants or a couple of versions that I like. Now the one I'm going to be tying is the light coloured one. This is the darker one. It's got the furnace hackle on it, which is slightly darker. And as you see in this case, it's got the wing buds, jungle cock. Just a split wing, as we would call it. It's a jungle cock eye, split and then folded down either side. It's a very simple and very effective fly. Now the cape I'm going to be using, this is the one I like to use. It's the Met's, and it's a grade 2 in this case, hen neck, and it's called ginger brown. That's the light one. There's the cape there. I'm going to use the larger feathers for the tail, and obviously the smaller ones for the front hackle. Now the hook I'm using is a Kamasan B175, and it's a size 10. Thread is a uni, an 8/0. I'm simply going to start at the eye of the hook and put down a layer of thread. Now I'm going to tie this fly quite short, meaning normally I would run the thread right down until I was in line with the barb, but in this case I'm going to stop just at the point, then remove the waste piece of thread. And as I said, I'm going to use, this is one of the larger fibres or feathers from the top of the cape, which I'm going to use for the tail. Just pull them 90 degrees from the stem, which will line up the tips. Now the length of the tail, I would have the length of the body itself, the full length over the back. Just tie it down. Now as I tie this down with 2 turns, I'm actually winding down the hook and not winding up. When I go to tie in the rest of the materials, like say I'm putting on the rib, which is a fine copper wire, this one here I'm going to use, I'm actually going to tie that in as I start to come back up. It stops or helps to remove a slight step that you'll get in the body. Now again, single turn on to hold just the wire just now. Now the pheasant tail I like to use, now there's, in the darker one I like the really deep brown pheasant tails, but on the lighter one I come slightly lighter with the pheasant tail. Still well marked, better marked so that it suits the pattern. Now the way I like to line up the tips, it's very easy. If you bring the fibres 90 degrees from the stem, you'll find the tips will naturally line up. And once you do that, you tear it off. Now there's a good half a dozen fibres here. Now what I'm going to do is catch it on the side, single turn at this point, and pull through the fibres until you get as close to the tips as you dare go. Once you get there, you start to come up, touching turns, tying in tail, rib and your body material. Take it at least 2/3 of the way up. Then the way I'm going to put on the pheasant tail is to wind it the opposite way. I actually wind the thread and the rib. It's the weakest fibre, and by doing this, when I bring the rib up through, it catches in more of the fibre, and at least by doing it as well, you'll see the rib will not disappear into the actual turns of the pheasant tail. Now once you've got enough pheasant tail, which is there, just bring it up, take it across your thread, bring a thread over, do a single turn, and then a turn onto the hook which locks in that turn. You do the same again a couple of times, and then remove the pheasant tail fibres, the waste piece, and then with a single turn the copper wire at the back, straight turn, and then come up, ribbon the body to get to this point here again, bring it up beside the thread and put a 90-degree bend into it. 90-degree bend will stop it pulling back. Don't come across so that the rib's at a slight angle and coming away from the hook. You want it a right elbow into the fly, into the rib, so that it will not pull back. I'm going to fold back the wire because it's so fine I can do that, and come back down, and then you can break it off. You don't need to use your scissors. Now once you've done that, get a couple of strands of peacock herring. It's natural peacock herring. I'm going to trim away the We tighten by close to the tips, but not exactly because the tips are too brittle. So we come down maybe an inch or two, turn them both together, and catch it on the side and pull it in. And then tighten up, take the thread up, and then what I normally like to do is run down, come back up with the peacock herald. This is adding to the taper of the fly, which gives it a lovely teardrop shape. That's what you're looking for. Then bring it across your thread, catch it, 2 or 3 turns. And then, this is basically to make the fly last longer. Take your thread down, open turns, and come back up. Just makes it much stronger if you do that. You could do 2 or 3 other ways, but that's the easiest way. It's the way I like to do it. Then get one of your hen hackles, and we tighten by the tip. Fibre length, you're looking at probably around about the length of the body. Not much more than that. Come in, catch it by the tip. I like to pull it back, come down with the thread 2 or 3 turns and fold back the point, and then come back up. Keeping the thread tight, come in and grab the tip and break it off. It's important that you keep the thread tight. Now, we stroke back and fold back the hackle fibres, and then at least, you don't need a lot of turns. That's a single 1.5 turns is plenty. Cross your thread, take your thread down to the eye, fold back your hackle, and basically anything going forward, draw it back and bring the thread back up. Keeping the thread tight again, just break away the hackle point, or the hackle itself. And there you are. And that there is, as we would call, the cruncher. Now, you can stop it, tie off just now. It's a great fly as it is just now. But to enhance it slightly, I'm going to put some wing buds, and I'm going to put a jungle cock eye on. And this is a single jungle cock eye, and as you can see, it's been split. Just pull back what you don't need. I'm going to tie these on the top. Just slightly fold them down either side. Just lay it on the top, pull your hackle down, lie it so it's like on the thorax, and then finger and thumb in, can bring it down, set them on the side, then come over with 2 or 3 turns just to hold it just now. Look, see how it's sitting. Now that's ideal. It's perfect. And then take your thread down again, and then fold back. Anything going forward, fold back your jungle cock, the fibres anyway, the waste piece. Bring the thread up, and then come in and trim away the waste. Just take your time, and then tidy up. Now that's at that point there. Now you could go a stage further. Now I've got, this is a fine red holographic tinsel. It's a single strand off. And all I do is catch it on the side, 2 or 3 turns down towards the eye, and then get some super glue. Now what I'm going to do here, on the side that's going to touch the head, I'm going to rub super glue along the holographic tinsel. So when I bring this over, it instantly sticks to the head. Just work your way down. Once you've got enough, and that's plenty there, just bring your thread up, 2 or 3 turns and fold it back. Now I'd leave it just now, leave everything, and then go straight in and wet finish. 1, 2, 3 is plenty. Come in, take away your thread, take away your red holographic. See how it's sitting, just a wee quick look, it's okay. And then come in and varnish. At least 2 coats. Once this is dry, put another coat in. It should be okay at that. If you want it a wee bit shinier, then obviously give it another coat.